Welcome in, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's so funny. Before we start, so like we're in this backstage type room, and you can see both Kenny and I going like getting ready for the live. So
we're excited. We're not complaining. We're
complaining. Just you gotta bring the energy.
We gotta bring our energy up. Yes, sir. That's why we like that hype music. We're all dancing in the
back. It is funny. We used to have it where we couldn't hear the music back in the day on the lives. It's like a different. You got to have that. So anyway, welcome in. Comment where you're from. There's 23 people in here so far, and it'll pick up here in a second, but it picks up especially when people comment, and I always like to see where everybody's from. So comment in where you're from. If you already have a real estate media business, that kind of thing, get an idea for who's here. We're going to be mainly talking about how to grow a six-figure photo business quickly, and like what are the mistakes people make along the way. Because I think there's a lot. I think one of the biggest mistakes is not thinking it's possible. So we'll talk about that a little bit, but there's just a lot of little things. I did not grow my business quickly. A lot of our coaching clients grow their business very quickly. And that's the difference between me doing it on my own and not knowing, and then being able to help someone do exactly the right thing. And that's what I want to help you with today. Ontario, Canada, Roddy from Scotland, Caleb from Georgia, Metro Detroit, Michigan, Belgium, Portugal. We have a pretty good European side audience today. That's cool.
What time is it over
Ontario,
here?
Canada. Dallas, Texas, a familiar area. Norman and Young serves Dallas and Fort Worth. Don't let that scare you, though. There's plenty of business to go around. We actually have between 6 and 8 coaching clients right now actively that are in DFW, and DFW is a massive market, so that's not a problem. But it's just funny. Like a lot of people are, what about the competition? I'm like, we coach our own competition because of how there's 30,000 agents approximately in Dallas, Fort Worth, and we work with about 1,000 of them. So I just think that's funny. And that's all the case in almost every larger city. What we look for when we're seeing if you can build a business in your area is generally, I'm going to move this mic a little closer. It should be better. Is generally we want to see 50,000 or more people within a 1 hour radius. And even if you have less than it, doesn't mean you can't build it. But a lot of people come to us, hey, talk to our team, talk to Rod, Philippe, Andrew, and they'll be like, well, in my area, there's only 400,000 people, or there's only 200,000 people. I'm like, you will be fine with 200,000 people. There's a lot of agents when there's 200,000 people. And the place we started my business is a little town called Granbury, Texas. And if you look it up, the population shows like somewhere under 20,000 people. There's more than that in the area, actually, because I think it just includes this city. But we were able to build a business that not only supported me and Aaron, it was also our first 2 employees, well over 20 grand a month in revenue in that smaller market. So that's not really what we're talking about today. I just, it's one of the most common things that I think prevents people from being willing to take a step and make this business happen because they're scared of competition. Nick said from North Texas, tell Philippe, thanks for putting up with me today. I will pass that on. I just was chatting with him before we went live, actually. We're working on something, so I'll pass that on. Not going to lie, I've been watching your channel and was ready to go, and I just got discouraged because I found out y'all were in DFW, and I'm like, yeah, I can't compete. No, I totally get that. Dude, literally 30,000 agents. You will have plenty, and you need to have a great business, 100 of them. Oh, nice. I've been to Granbury. Great people. They said, yeah, it's a cool city. I like my cities a little bit more chaotic. So I live in Miami now. I like a little bit more going on. Granbury is a little sleepy, but it's a nice little lake community.
You guys started in Granbury, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That was for a long time. We only did Granbury too, because it was a longer drive to Fort Worth, like 45 minutes. So anyway, I'm going to jump into it. First, we didn't really get that. How many of you have a real estate media business, and how many shoots are you doing a week approximately? If you haven't started yet, or you have started, but you don't have any shoots, just put 0. But everybody, if you could all answer, it'd be great, because I'll tailor my presentation and what I'm going to talk about, which presentation is a strong word. I'm just going to teach some things that I've learned and that are second nature because of how often I teach them. But that's really important to know where you guys are at to do that best. And also, I just moved into a new house and the Wi-Fi is very suspicious. So if I cut out, I will be back. While we're waiting, I was going to say something. I don't remember what it was, but anyway. 6 to 8 shoots per week. Nice. Starting to get to the point of like 2 a day, 1.5 a day. That's pretty good. 7 to 10 a week. Okay, so 2 a day, healthy 2 a day there. That's when it starts to get pretty good. 2 a day. I mean, obviously your average order value will depend. It's not like always 2 a day, but let's say you're doing 6 shoots a week, which is like really 1 per business day, and you have a $250 average order value. You're looking at $1,500 a week times 4.25 months or weeks in a month, $6,300 on the low end with 6 shoots a week, which is pretty good. That's the thing that's nice about real estate media is like a lot of people will be like, Eli, I want to start this, but I have a full-time job. Like join the club. Everybody else has a full-time job when they start. And that's the cool thing about what we do in launch coaching is you can have a full-time job and still do launching because most people do. And so our goal is to look at the math with you and be like, okay. And I always like to use 250 as an average order value number because I think it's like pretty low. Like 275, 300 is way better. I mean, plenty of people have, 400 or 500 depending on the market. So, and the average order value is the amount you get paid on average per shoot. So you're gonna have some shoots that are $100 because the client was cheap and they just did your cheapest. You're gonna have some shoots that are 500. It averages, right? And that's where that number comes from. And so the cool thing about that, and I always like building my business with numbers. I think when I first started, I didn't use numbers. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to do any math about how much everything was gonna be. And so I like to use numbers to tell me, okay, if I have, you work a 9 to 5. Or an 8 to 5. I think a lot of people use the word 9 to 5, but most 9 to 5ers really work 8 to 5 and they have to drive on top of that. It's like, how many shoots can you fit in? Because you can't just quit your job because you need money, as most of us do. And some people have, a little bit of savings built up, and that's awesome if you do. It makes it easier. But let's say you have a 9 to 5 and you want to replace your income before you quit. That's going to be important, right? Because you could just quit, but that's scary. That's not the approach I like to take. I don't like to take too much risk. You have to take some, you have to start the business, but you can risk your time, not your entire livelihood and your rent and everything, right? You can just risk the extra free time you have. And so comment in the chat if you don't mind, like what schedule you work right now, how much extra time you have. And also comment if you don't mind, because I'm going to just use one of your actual numbers. Comment how much money you would need to make to replace your full-time job. Because what I want to do on this training, like the first, next 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to walk through kind of a roadmap. We'll see what I come with. And I'll use one of your scenarios specifically and talk about what that would look like. And then I'll talk about, okay, once you're at the point of going full-time, whether it's 3, 4, 5, 6K a month, how do you scale that up to 100K a year, which is only 8K a month. You're almost there. But we'll talk maybe into the multiple 6 figures. Really, you should be able to get to like 200K, 250 before you hire a photographer. That's generally about 16 to 20 grand a month. So comment in there. We'll wait for that. How much money you would need to make to quit your full-time job. Because I just like using a real scenario. Nick said laid off some free. Well, sorry about that, Nick, but that makes it harder because you have the financial pressure, but you have the time. So that's good. Okay. Ollie said at least 5K. Okay. So let's say you have a full-time job and you need to make 5K a month. I like to do math on everything because there's this saying, numbers don't lie, people do. And so I like to use math because the worst liar is yourself. You're always going to make yourself feel it's either harder or easier than it should be, and neither serves you. And so 5K. All right. So we're going to divide that. I'm going to do I call it money math. We're going to divide it by average order value of 250. We need to do 20 shoots at $250 to make 5K. Now you're probably saying, wait a second, what about expenses? And you'd be absolutely right. So we want to add a little bit to that. So let's say we're going to do 23 shoots, right? I'm going to add 3 shoots. That's going to be roughly $750. That'll cover the expenses of editing and that kind of stuff. So we need 23 shoots a month. Well, there's more than 23 days in a month. If you did one every day, you'd not even have to do one every day. But let's say you don't want to work Sundays and you don't want to destroy all of your weekends and you don't want to work every evening after work. So there's 4 Saturdays in a month. Let's say you don't want to work all Saturday, but you're willing to do like 2 shoots a Saturday. It's pretty easy. It's probably going to take you 4 hours total, including drive time and everything. 2 hours shooting, let's say 2 hours driving if you have to drive like really far. I like to make the math go like against us so it looks good. And so it makes it worst case scenario. That way, if it's better for you, awesome. Not the other way around. That's kind of misleading. So 23 shoots, you're going to work 2 shoots per Saturday. That gives you 8 shoots on Saturdays. You're only doing a partial day Saturday. You could totally do more on your Sunday if you want to, right? So I'm going to subtract 8 shoots. Now we just have 15 shoots. So we have to do less than 1 shoot per day after work. And you can squeeze in 1 hour shoot after work. And that's going to allow you to replace your income before you quit. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's kind of a lot of work, and it is. But keep in mind, there's going to be a period where you're making your normal 5K income plus 2,000 a month, 7K. And then it's going to be 5K plus 3K. We're getting to the point where you're doubling your income before you quit, right? Or you're at least having 2 incomes. So there's going to be a period of time where you're making almost a dual income. So you could probably quit sooner because you could, hopefully that extra money all goes to your savings. It all goes to building up your net worth a little bit, giving you a cushion, or maybe allowing you to pay down some debt or whatever that is, right? I think you should, my take on it always is it is easier and less stressful to just work more than it is to quit your job and have financial stress. For me, financial stress, I don't want to do anything if I'm financially stressed. And so I do it by working extra. And then you have that extra double income for a while, right? And the best thing is when you work harder, you spend less money because you're working, not spending money. Anyway, it's really cool that it works out that way. And so it allows you to have that double income, whatever your goals are. Maybe you take a vacation you haven't taken in a while, whatever. Like, that's the point of the business, is to allow you to do the things you want to do. And it starts with that double income, which I think is super cool. Any questions on that process? A lot of people are going to be around 5K a month, 4,500 a month, 5K. Brad said 5K. Techno said 4,500. Renata said 10K. So Renata, you make a healthy income. And so you're going to have to be more probably practical with it. You're either going to have to quit before you replace it, or you're going to have to work more on the weekends. But it just depends on your goal, right? If you have a 10K job you hate, then maybe you're willing to quit it. You're doing 6K with real estate media. And I think that's totally possible. I will answer questions about preferred vendors list and all those other questions at the end. Just hang out on that. Vera, I hope I pronounced that right. If not, let me know how to pronounce it. But we're going to stay on track with growing the business, and then we'll talk about specifics after. I'll do an open Q&A. You can ask anything you want. Any questions y'all have on that? And anything I'm missing, Kenny? Anything you wanted to jump in with, or are we good?
We're good. Yeah.
Cool.
So
Ooh, good question. Tayo said, are most realtors willing to work nights and weekend availability? I always like to be honest with people. And the way I start this is by saying, no, not all realtors will be okay with that. Some will want you to work during business hours, which becomes a benefit over time once you go full time, because then you're not expected to work after hours and weekends. You're going to eliminate some of the realtors that would work with you, right? Because they're not going to want to work with that schedule. The great thing is you don't need every real estate agent, right? Like, you only need enough to get 20 shoots, 23 shoots a month to make 5K is what we're talking about. And so that's the good news. No, not all of them will work with you, but that's okay. You don't need all of them. There's so many. Let's see if I can still pronounce that. Okay, Barack, like Barack Obama. Barack. Okay, I think I got it. Hopefully. Let me know if not. That's the hardest part about doing lives, is like, I hate mispronouncing people's names, and I just have to like give it a swing. And then sometimes I know it and then I forget. So anyway, but I guess before we do that, we need to do lots of client acquisition, right? Yes. So in order to get 23 clients a month, you don't just snap your fingers and get the clients. Obviously, that's where the Instagram method comes in. And the nice thing is, if you're looking at your after hours time, so you're going to do some after work and you're going to do some on the weekend, at the start, you're using all of those hours for the Instagram method, learning how to do photos, videos, 3D, everything like that. And then it's going to shift to less Instagram method, or maybe you just work more and more shoots, right? To the point where you quit, and then you can bring back the Instagram method or other things that you've had to put off. You put off the Instagram method to do a shoot, right? Because that's the whole point of the Instagram method. So it kind of naturally replaces itself, which is cool. The Instagram method, for anybody that doesn't know, and we use the word Instagram method. It's just a way we came up with that works really well to get clients, and we've refined it a lot. If you want like the overview of it, go to the link in my bio and here on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, and watch the workshop I talk about it. And that's obviously one of the biggest things we help with. So if you're serious and like you want to make this business happen, you're ready to do 6 months of coaching to help you get to a goal, we'll teach you like step by step the Instagram method, because there's a lot of nuance to it. But that's what it is. It's a process to get clients, and there's tons of ways you can get. There's probably a million ways you get clients, right? If you add in the silly stuff like sending them a fax message. And so the thing you have to do is, I don't know if a fax message is the right. Is that how you say a fax? I think I'm not even.
Just a fax.
I think you just say a fax. Anyway, that's in the past. So what you have to do as a small business owner is, and any business owner really, is it's about how you use your resources, and time is a resource. So if you're like, okay, I could cold call, I could do the Instagram method, I could visit brokerages in person, there's all these things. And so rather than trying to do all of them, which is the biggest mistake that a lot of business owners make that never get anywhere, it's better just to pick the best one and go all in on that. Because then you're saying, hey, this is the best method, and I'm going to be the most skilled at that one thing instead of trying to divert my focus. And one of the things we see from people that, especially people that have tried this before they try coaching, because there'll be a lot of people that are like, I'm going to try it on my own first. And we see the same thing over and over, which they always come back and they've tried to do so many things and they just haven't done it right. And they've done a bunch of, it's like they haven't had any time to build any experience with one thing. And so just like kind of a side note is focus is so important when you're building a business. Do less, but do it better. There's a book that coined that phrase, less but better. I forget what it's called now that I'm thinking about it, but really stuck with me. Okay, let's see. So anyway, we're at the point, let's say, where you've done the work, you've gotten to your full-time income, you quit your job. When you do that is up to you. And I think being comfortable is a good thing to keep in mind, but being too comfortable isn't. So you just have to weigh that balance. The cool thing is after you do that, you've already built a business to $5K a month. Getting to $100K a year run rate is just a matter of doing the same thing, but it's way easier because now you don't have a 9 to 5. And so that's kind of the roadmap. Dive into the questions. So I'm going to dive into the questions. So put them in the comments and we'll start there. What do you want to start with, Kenny? Which questions should we hit?
Let's see. This one. Should I reach out for my personal page or make a business page on Instagram method? Oh, to do Instagram method. I would definitely create your own a business Instagram profile. I did a critique or a feedback video on how they should look like a little bit ago, like 2-3 weeks ago. So it should be in the lives here saved.
Yeah, if you go to the lives, you should see it. We did a full Instagram profile critique. So you can do that. But yeah, sorry, go for it, Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just like create a separate profile from your personal one, because it's got to be like specific for real estate. So definitely check out that video.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely do a business like Kenny said. This one's a great one. Owen said, is it possible to do 50 DMs every day for a week, or would Instagram disable it? It depends is the answer. So there's a lot, there's a lot of things that go into it. The messages you're sending, what you're doing prior to sending the messages, how long your accounts existed for, which most people it's brand new. So that kind of goes against you, but it's okay. So there's all these things that add up. Some people can send a ton, others can't. I think it is actually in your control. It's just the Instagram doesn't publish what is going to get you disabled. When you get disabled, it's just for like 12 hours or 24 hours and you can do it again. The biggest one we've seen lately is if you don't especially if you don't use Instagram, if it's not like a platform you're on, you're way more likely to get disabled for doing less messages because you're not doing things a normal human does. So like my Instagram, for example, this is it, right? I actually use this Instagram feed. I get a lot of content on here. I followed people that I like, or people that I want to stay up to date or want to learn from. And so I spend a lot of time scrolling on my Instagram, which is what most people do on Instagram. So if I send DMs, I'm not going to get banned. Same thing with Norman and Young. I used to use that account as I would follow the people I wanted to so I could still use it. So you want to act like a human. So if you find yourself getting banned a lot or disabled temporarily from sending messages, there's 2 things you need to do. Number 1, follow accounts that you like and just use that as your personal Instagram for now to satisfy your swipe fixation, And if you don't use Instagram, you better develop an Instagram addiction a little bit. Get on there and get swiping because it'll make your account much less likely to get banned. The second thing is, when you get banned, what it is just, hey, you can't send, according to our community, they'll give you like a community guidelines warning, and then you'll just have to do something else. But it only stops you from like sending messages usually. So you can usually still follow unless you get blocked from following. And then you go to reacting to stories, you do that, you mess it. Like there's always gonna be something you can do. And so that's what we recommend. Let's see. Oh, nice. You're a medical rep and you're on call 24/7. I can imagine that builds up. That's got to be tough. But yeah, I mean, the nice thing is I would imagine maybe you're somewhat more flexible. Like if you had to leave a shoot in an emergency, that wouldn't be the biggest deal. I mean, agent wouldn't like it, but that's good and bad, The good news is you can absolutely replace your 10K income. I think there's a lot of people who teach how to do stuff online. It's no shade to them, maybe a little bit, but I don't like to make things feel easier than they are. I think that's misleading. So the thing I always say about real estate media is it's simple, but it's not easy. And so replacing your income is going to be pretty straightforward. You just do stuff and then you do a lot of hard work doing that stuff and you replace it. And so one thing I like to keep in mind is that phrase, simple but not easy. And I think that actually is even more important to consider because The complicated stuff is what people do that messes them up. It's doing the Instagram method and just fixing every roadblock that comes in your way, and keep doing the Instagram method until you're just bored of it and you hate it, because that's what it takes. So it's simple, but not easy, because your human nature, not just you, is want to do something else. So that's just a little overview from what we see is people get bored, they get frustrated, they abandon Instagram. They're like, I'm going to do something else. And it's like the extent to which you will make money is the extent to which you can do the same thing and come up with and fix the roadblocks that come up in the way. I think that's really important. Let's see. Any tips for being in grade 10 and realtors possibly not wanting to work with my young age? So I started shooting real estate when I was 16. I think that's about 10th grade. So it's almost exactly the same. The thing I wish someone would have told me is like, they would have slapped me and be like, Eli, stop talking about being young. It has nothing to do with it. It's actually easier when you're young. More people there'll be some that just, don't want to pay you much, try to take advantage of you, but that's 1 in 100. Most people are like, I had the best experiences when I was like 16 to 19 or 20 shooting real estate. Like I would have people literally mentor me. Like I'd shoot a big house and they would be like, tell me about your business. And they still do that when you get older, but like you have an advantage being younger, I think.
So they want to help.
I do that when I meet someone that's 18, like we call it cloth talk. Like we just like try to help them, because I wish someone would have done that. And people did do it for me. It's more not I wish, it's I want to pass it on. What were you going to say, Kenny?
Oh, exactly what you just said. I was just agreeing.
Sorry, I'm on a trend today, and I was gonna say I'm on a roll, but that implies that it's good. I'm just not stopping. So
you're good.
You got a question and answer, Mr. West. My throat is sore.
Let's see. Oh, this one's a good one. What content should we put in our reels? Nothing, honestly. A lot of people make this mistake, and that's why I love it when they join coaching, because it's like, you're not trying to grow your Instagram organic. You're not trying to be famous. You're not trying to get followers. You're the one begging for those followers, in other words. So as soon as you get your first 9 posts, which I show in that other video, that's it. Leave it alone. Post on your story more often. Like tell them that you're a real person. That's how you'll build a connection. So don't focus too much on like, what should I be posting? What should my reels look like? None of that. A lot of people focus on like going into Canva and making like the best thumbnail. So people are like, oh yeah, nobody's looking at your profile. First of all, they'll look once you send them a DM, and then your profile becomes your salesperson. They're like, oh, it looks good. I see the person in there. I see the photos, your portfolio, but no one's ever going to find you and be like, oh, wow, these are some great thumbnails. Like, yeah, I'm going to follow this guy and make him or I want to become a client. Like, so don't focus too much on that. Any thoughts on that, Eli?
No, I think it's great. Yeah. You're not, the posts are not, like, you could literally get your first 9 posts, which is what Kenny said. And we structure those carefully in coaching. Like, we want to get them to look right, because it's be photos of you and photos of houses. But then after that, like Kenny said, just post in your story and just do the DM method. The another thing he said was Instagram is supposed to be like your 24/7 virtual salesperson. And that's what we want to craft it to be. So don't worry about making reels, really. You're not trying to just get reach. You're targeting the clients. You're not waiting for them to find you. Would you implement a cancellation fee on a same-day cancellation? When would you mention it prior to the appointment? We do not. So the agent doesn't want to cancel either. And sometimes you'll get abused, quote unquote, for someone that'll cancel like 3 times. The amount of upside for not having a cancellation fee outweighs that. We want our clients to feel like we're members of their team. And so we go out of our way to make that happen. And one way we do that is by if they have to cancel, be like, I totally understand. No worries at all. I know you wanted to get, like, we come across as like, oh, we got you. And that will make you so much more money than that little cancellation fee. It's not worth it. Like when you charge that fee, you're basically taking a piece of the relationship and selling it for a small amount of money. The thing that's so awesome about real estate media is that the power in it is that client keeps using you. They are going to pay you every time they get a listing. And so your only job, if your goal is to make as much money as possible, your only job is to keep that client.
Yeah.
Right. If they have something go wrong with the shoot, refund them for the shoot. Your only job is to keep that client for the future, because the future money is what matters. Right. I know you're saying I need money today. And yes, you will make money today, but taking $30, $50 for a cancellation fee that's how you stay a small business. And just transparently, that's how you stay poor. There's a lot of business owners who are poor because of their mentality on things. They don't make a lot of money, so they start searching for scraps. And I understand it. When I started my business, I did not have money. I had an $82,000 house as my first house, right? And I'm not saying I had a bad situation. I absolutely didn't. I had great parents and a great situation, and a lot more than most people. But every business owner feels that. They feel like they need to get more money, right? And if you do that, you are sacrificing your upside. And what happens is people do that for years and they never get the upside. And they think that if they do more, maybe they'll get the upside then. And it's just a cycle that goes in reverse. So
no, you're worth a lot, something that we hear a ton. But With what you were saying, I mean, like that client is going to be so happy with you that she or he is going to start referring you to you, like to other agents about you. And it's like, yeah, Amit or Amit, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but like he doesn't charge a cancellation fee. So if anything goes wrong because of the seller, the buyer, whoever, like, he's on your team.
100% true. It's great too, because if you're someone that doesn't like selling, which I don't like selling, I like when clients just buy and use my services. It's great when your clients do the selling for you, right? And we talked about in a YouTube video, there's the 3 R's of real estate media that make it awesome, that make it like I don't like photography. I don't think a photo business is a good idea generally. It just happens that there's this little niche called real estate media that happens to be a great way to make money. And the reason is because of these 3 things. It's not, you can't do this with any type of photo business, right? Maybe you can in some areas, but like the best one in my opinion is real estate media for these 3 things. So it's repeat business, right? The clients use you again and again and again. And if you haven't seen this YouTube video, I don't remember what it's called. Watch YouTube if you're new to this. Like I wish I had my own YouTube. Anyway, when I was starting, so it's repeat business. They use you over and over. So once you get a client, it's like opening an income stream faucet. It continues. But then it's referral business. So you can get more income streams, right? You have all of these faucets that open up, and the faucets create the other faucets for you. This is kind of a bad reference at the point, but either way, your own clients go out and sell for you, and then you get a bunch of income from all of them. And the last thing is it's required business, and it's not legally required for them to use you, but almost every good real estate agent hires a photographer. And I mean, it's required in the sense that helps them achieve a goal. And so those 3 R's make it awesome. I don't know where the question initially started, but here's where we are now.
Yeah, it was about fees and stuff, but
oh yeah.
Here's a great one for Instagram method. Like once you're starting offering, like, is it better to offer free videos? It's honestly better to offer everything for free, but obviously there's editing costs. And so if you can't afford that, then that's why we do photos for free. But if you're seeing a trend with a lot of the clients that are like, I want a free video, and you're okay with that editing cost of doing a video, of course, offer it for free.
And you can also use it to sweeten the pot. That's something that Kenny talks a lot about with Instagram and stuff, is like, you can sweeten the pot by like, if you offer free photos and they don't respond or they're not interested right now, you'd be like, circle back 2 weeks later. Also, I just added video to my list of services. I'd love to throw that on. Or I noticed you had this house that doesn't have drone photos. I know you already got great interior and exterior photos. Can I come shoot some drone photos for free just to show you? Like that, those little, being like, how am I going to help this client? How can I help them? And then you just give them the products you make, which is great. And then they see it and then they want to use you again.
That's the thing. We have a coaching student that, one of my coaching students, what he does, he'll do a free shoot. And then if he sees like, this house would, a video would really show off this house, but this person's like this agent's very afraid to pay my fee for video. He'll do a 30-second video or a 6-second video. And then the next day he'll be like, hey, I just did a video for you. I think that it would go great with this home, with this listing. And then the agent gets hooked and it's like immediately booking for videos every single listing. Which
and then you just got so much higher average order value. I mean, if video is going to be $250, $300 at a minimum, it's good money, You do one of those a day and it's a 10K month. Legitimately, 300 times 30 is like 9K. This is Shane. Thanks for saying this, but yeah, cancellation fee is loss of client. So if you're willing to give up a client for a $50 or $85 cancellation fee, go for it, I guess. But like, I would pay right now, I would pay hundreds of dollars for every new client at my business. I would go out there, I would spend money because I know I make it back so fast. So the thought of selling a client for an $85 cancellation fee and getting rid of it is like, you'd never sell this thing for $50. That's what you're doing when you lose a client over a $50 cancellation fee. Is someone's going to pay you $1,000 this year probably, or more. So it's never good. And then I see what you're saying. Would it incentivize the client not to care? Maybe, but the client also doesn't want to waste their own time rescheduling and stuff. So I think the biggest thing you have to do, there's a concept we talk about a lot, which is you don't want to make policies or any sort of changes in your business based upon 1% of your clients. And the problem is the 1% of your clients that cause you to want to make that policy are usually the loudest. So let's say you have 100 clients and one of them just abuses your time so much, they always reschedule, right? What people will do is they'll go, attention all clients, we are now doing a cancellation fee. And it's like, dude, there was only one client that was a problem. And now all your other clients are like, all right, sick, like it doesn't help them. And so it's better to say, like, to address it with the client specifically. If you notice it becoming a trend, hey, I want to see if there's anything I could do to make sure that we schedule at a time that works. I notice we oftentimes have to cancel and then I lose that spot for the day. So I understand things happen, but is there anything I can do to help you make it more likely that we don't have to reschedule? I know it would save your time as well. boom, send that, right? Give them a call, communicate with them. Much better solution than just like policy for everybody.
Here's something that we were just talking on our members Q&A. Communication, and like I don't think there's such thing as over communicating, as long as you're doing that with your agents, like it's fine. And also, like, wouldn't it incentivize the client not to care about your own time? Like maybe like Eli was saying, but also like they don't want to waste their time, and most likely they wanted you to come shoot the house. They just, the seller or the homeowner just had something, so they're like, oh, this sucks. So,
they want to sell the dang house and get that commission check.
Yeah,
this is 100% true. Justin said, should I have a satisfaction guarantee of some kind? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like if anybody's not happy with the photos, we refund them. I think it's the easiest thing you can do. You're like, oh, that sucks. But it's like, I will just say this from our, not just the experience of me building my business, Norman and Young, like everybody we get to work with in coaching, like the more customer service oriented you are, the more money you make. And I think a lot of people disconnect. They're like, I understand, but I need to make money. It's like, I promise you. And I know you're not necessarily saying that you're against this, Justin. Like you're saying, you should, but just for everybody, like the more you go, what would be the most ideal situation here, the better. So like, for example, at Amazon, their mission is to be the most customer-centric company on earth. Like, how can I have the best customer experience, right? What do customers care about? And you start doing that. It's like, well, they want it faster, right? We all want things faster. So like you order something on Amazon, it's like, you see it fly in before you've even done ordering it, you know? And you want to do the same thing with your clients. You'd be like, okay, if I was a client, I didn't like the way a shoot came out, how would I want them to handle it? Well, I would want to just use a new vendor and get my money back. I would want them to offer a reshoot or to edit, and then I would probably want my money back if they couldn't fix it. So that's what we do. Do you use the same editors for video and photos? No. So for video, we have an in-house editing company that is called REPP Video Editing that our coaching clients are able to use. And that's what we use as well. Kenny actually built, that's Kenny, by the way, for everybody. I didn't introduce you. It was kind of rude, but you've been here enough. I feel like they all know. Yeah. You might need to start introducing me. Anyway, Kenny built it. It's a great business. We do a lot of video edits every night. Right now, it's only open to coaching clients. So speaking of that, I mean, I do think it is, we make this content because we want to help people start real estate media businesses, but there's only so much you're going to get in a few YouTube videos. So if you're serious about this and over the next 6 months, you want to build a business that has a guaranteed number that you're going to hit during that time. And Eli, how do you guarantee it? I'll talk about that in a second. That's exactly what coaching is for. The only thing that you need to do to qualify for coaching is you have to be in an area where we can help you. You have to have goals that align with what we can help with, meaning you have to want to go full-time eventually, and you have to be coachable. If you're not coachable, we can't help you. The only way we determine that is if you get on a call with our team. So we have Andrew, Rod, and Philippe, who their whole job, REPP, actually, a lot of people don't know this, but our coaching business has right now 16 full-time employees. So we've built an awesome business, and their job, those three, their only job is to do game plan calls with people and help get the right people into the program. And so that's why we do those calls. I can't just be like, here's coaching. It's a different price based on your market and your goals, and everything about it is customized to you. And so I'll put the link up here for anybody that wants to apply. I would encourage you to just get on a call and talk about it. It is a commitment. I mean, you're going to have to show up and do the work. It's not cheap, but we'll help you figure out how to make it work. But if you can do that, the way we can guarantee results is because we say, hey, if you do these four things, we have it written out for you. It's very clear. Here's what you will get. And if you don't, we will pay you the difference to get you there. It's kind of a cool guarantee, right? Because you get there one way or another. But in order for us to feel confident guaranteeing you something, like we like to put our money where our mouth is behind coaching, we have to talk to you first. Because you get on the call with some people, and if you're just to be frank, if you're lazy and you're looking for the fast, quick, like super easy, not going to have to do any work, just going to sit back and build your business, like we can't help you. You're going to have to do the work. Our job and the way we help with coaching is we make it so you don't make any errors, right? We shortcut your process. We teach you everything. We boot camp you through, and you'll learn what I learned in the first 4 years in the first 6 months. And that's where your business will get. So we'd love to work with that. Back to questions here. I got a comment today about not adding enough vertical photos. I try and do at least 3 when warranted. The agent wants like 10 to 15. Yes. So Shane, great question. We ask our clients about that. Most of our clients don't want any verticals. So that's why we're really big on client notes in Spiro, which is the system we use to manage everything. If an agent wants that, we'll do it. We just need to know. Just what I would really suggest you don't do is switch all your agents to more verticals. They won't like them. It just kind of loads weird and less as well.
Like Eli was saying, don't change your whole business because 1% is saying like, I want this. If anything, just be like, oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm going to put that in your client notes and make sure that
Love it.
Next shoot, I'm going to make sure to have 10 to 15 vertical photos for you.
100%. What is some good advice you give me to an 18-year-old real estate photography business? So I think you're saying you're 18, not your business is 18 years old, but let me know if I'm wrong on that. Delete the 18-year-old. It has nothing to do with it. The longer you stay of any, like as long as you add any situation to it, it's not going to benefit you. So we'll get the same thing. I'm 60, I'm 70. Can I do a real estate media business because I'm old or whatever? It's like, that has nothing to do with it. Like the inputs is what matters. And so I think a lot of people, everybody has a unique situation. They think they're in a bad market. They think they can't talk well. They think they all have something. Everybody has something. Some have it worse than others, but it helps nobody to be like, hey, I'm this. No, that's probably not what you're saying, but I would just drop the 18. You build the business the same way, whether you're 18 or you're 85, right? And yes, we've had some people in their 80s build real estate media businesses. And I think that's super awesome, first of all. We had a guy describe it. He's in retirement as his wine and cheese money. And I thought that was amazing. So anyway, that'd be my advice to you. Approach it the same way as everybody else. Learn, value gaining knowledge. Maybe if you're not in a position to do coaching now, I'd encourage you to apply and talk with my team about it. Watch my YouTube, like just sponge, soak up all the information, and it'll really benefit you. And also just targeting the fact that you're 18 right now. Most of the time, there's always gonna be an advantage of something that you have going on. If you're older, you have more experience. If you're younger, you have more energy. And that's what I was gonna say. Like even the difference, I'm 28 now. I'll be 29 later this year. And that's how it works, right? My energy level is different than when I was 18, right? I still have a ton of energy, and it's probably different than when I'm 49. Use that now. You can I could pull all-nighters so many times in a row and not even get tired. And so if you are going to bring your age into it, bring it in as an advantage, which you may have been doing. I'm just saying that would be my advice.
You're 18. You may be still living with your parents. You have no expenses, which means Justin just said, offer free shoots. I'd be offering free shoots, free videos, free everything. I mean, you have
because you get it all for free. Your parents pay for it, and if they don't, good for you, right? But if they do, use that as an opportunity. There's a Gary V thing where he's like, people whine about their parents and the input they have, and then their parents pay their Netflix and their rent. He does his normal Gary V cursing, but he's like, then stop taking the money from them if you're going to have an opinion, So if they are supporting you, awesome. Try to make that there's this quote that I like, which I forget who this is from. And if you're a female, sub-in, woman, man, whatever, right? There's a point in every man's life where he realizes, or in every boy's life where he realizes no one's coming to save him. And that's the point where he becomes a man. Just sub it with go from a baby to a full, adult that can do their own thing, right? I think that's so true. It's when you finally realize that you have to do this, it just switches your perspective. And that's why I actually think it's good to have to be reliant on yourself. I think who knows? Everybody has a different parenting, but I think supporting your kids so long is the worst thing you can do for them. I think it's great. And I think my parents did a really good job of this too. They didn't leave us without anything, but there was one time in our business when we were first starting actually, where I really wanted a Matterport camera. And I didn't pitch my dad on the idea, but I showed him as a $4,000 camera. You don't have to use that anymore. That was the lesson that I really learned from that, which we'll talk about in a second. But I was kind of hoping he would just buy it for me or invest in the business. And he didn't, right? He didn't. He did that on purpose. He wasn't going to make it easy for me. That would have screwed it up, right? And I'm so grateful for that and a ton of other lessons. But I think that's just something to keep in mind. And the funny thing about that is we didn't actually need that camera that we needed. We could have got a cheaper version. And so him not being here's $4,000 made it so I was what do I it made me figure it out. And it was because I actually got the camera. I still got the $4,000 camera, but I got it very shortly after from a real estate agent client of ours who had bought it and was I don't know why I bought this. It was a husband and wife team. And the husband was I don't know why I bought this. And also my wife, who's also a real estate agent, was mad at him for buying this $4,000 camera. He's so I'm going to give it to you in exchange for $4,000 worth of credit for real estate media. And I was it was the fastest I have ever driven to go meet a real estate agent. I was done, dude, 100%. And he actually threw in a clause, which I think was pretty funny. He was but I just need you to wear, it was their brand when I went to shoot. So I'd be out in the car changing my shirt before the shoots to wear their brand. It was the best deal I ever made. So that was kind of a long tangent, but I think the more you can just realize I need to figure this out. And then you go, okay, how do I figure this out? You switch from I'm waiting to I'm going to figure this out. And I figured it out in a pretty silly way, which is let's just try everything and see what doesn't work. rather than let's go to someone who's done this and do it that way. And again, this probably sounds like I'm just pitching coaching, which to be fair, I am. I want to work with you in coaching. But a lot of entrepreneurs build businesses to solve their problems. And so that was how we built REPP and how we built coaching. Is like, what would Eli have needed to save himself a ton of trial and error? Here's the catch on this though. Doesn't even have to be us. Doesn't have to be the REPP team. We'd love to work with you. Whatever business you're trying to start, find someone who's done it before and pay them, learn them whatever you can, and learn from a bunch of people. Like, my businesses and our success, we built businesses that, now combined do hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue, which is, I say that, and it's probably big for them. It's a tiny business. The reason I did that is because I've been willing to learn from other people. And like, I'm the biggest fan. I paid over $100,000 this year for coaching. Right on it. I'm trying to calculate everything somewhere in that range. That's a lot, right? And it's not for me coaching to make me feel better. It's practical coaching for my business. And so I think that's really important. My money's where my mouth is. Ooh, I love this one. Instagram method does not work. My favorite comment of all time. Tell me, and this is no hate to you, but if you're willing, if you actually want a solution to this, I'd love to dive in with you. So if you want to talk about that, comment below your Instagram username, how many messages you've sent, and then we'll go from there. If you're willing to talk about it, if not, I can't help you if you're not willing. So drop that in there and we'll go from there. Yeah, Darlene was saying too, I'm not sure what the 18-year-old's name is, but yeah, your parents will be proud of you if you build a business, right? And more importantly, you will be proud of you and you'll become useful. And I think this is kind of like a broader topic, but you feel more happy when you're productive. And when you're productive, that's what building a business is, when you're doing stuff. So it's like great for everybody. Like, you'll feel good. You'll do things. You'll get to I've got an awesome team. I get to hang out with people I like, hang out, right? But we're working the business together. It's like, it feels like hanging out, but we're building something together. And I think that all starts with you being willing to do something different. Oh, let me question. Sorry, Mo, I'm answering the other ones. So if I'm brand new and don't have a portfolio, should I make one before I do mass marketing? No, just go take photos of your own house, your friend's house, your parents' house. If you have to rent an Airbnb, but don't rent a nice one, you just need 1 or 2 shoots. You can go to a model home community. That's all you need before you start.
Yeah.
I think that was your question. Ask it again if I missed it. Do cold calls work in today's market? Yes, they work. It's always just a question of to what extent do they work. So I think the Instagram method is a much better way to do it. Shane said they'll be proud when you offer to pay the power bill. There you go. Or take them to a fine restaurant, Whenever you're everybody's used to their parents paying the bill, snag that bill and pay it.
I like that.
Let's see. I just talked so much. I have no more talk in me for 30 seconds.
I'm waiting on that Instagram. I want to critique it. I want to see.
I know. What's his name? K24M10. Instagram method does not work, guy. I hope you are willing to share the numbers in your profile so we can dive into it. I'm not just here to shred you, by the way. I will give you genuine, helpful feedback because I want it to work for you. And it will if you do it right. We have not once found someone the Instagram method doesn't work for, right? If you're willing to do exactly what we say, it will work. It's just, yeah, you got to do it, right? It's not magic. You have to do it right. Let's see. Yeah, go to an open house. There's another way. If you're shy, go to a Airbnb. The Instagram account does work until my Instagram was hacked and stolen. Sorry, Chris, to hear that. But here's the thing. Day 1 starts again today. Start a new Instagram, roll with it. I don't know how it got hacked either. Set up 2-factor authorization or whatever it's called, authentication, so you don't have that happen again. And it's actually really funny. Business is just a series of things going wrong that you have to fix. And then everybody starts oh, this happened. And it's that's exactly what a business does. It solves problems. I'm not saying that. I know it sucks when things happen, Chris. Everybody has stuff happen in their business. You have mad clients. You'll have stuff go wrong. Part of business. Well, anything else you want to cover, Kenny?
Start now. That's what I would say. Start now. Stop making excuses. There's always going to be an excuse to why it's not the perfect time. Join coaching. Teach yourself. Educate yourself. I would just say start now. If you want to avoid the trials and errors, join coaching. If you want to go with that, by all means, go for it. But I would just say just start now. A lot of people just come into coaching and are like, yeah, I've been wondering, I wanted to do this for months, for years, and I just haven't done it. And I'm like, 6
months from now, if you do coaching, you'll have a completely different life.
Yeah. So that's what I would say.
It's funny. And that goes with everything too. If you're already, if you're pursuing anything, maybe you come here because we just talk about biz stuff and you have a wedding, whatever it is, you just got to do it. And the funny thing is, it's usually the thing that you're most fearful of doing is the thing you most need to do. right? And because it's a sign of fear is really just your body trying to protect itself from something that's new that you've not done. You're not experienced. It's more risky, right? So you just have to know that. Keep that in mind. Let's see. Oh, KB24M10 responded. The problem I'm having is that when I request people follow me, there's a cap or something when I send messages. How many messages have you sent and what's your Instagram? Answer that question, the specific question, and I'm not being rude, I'm just being direct. I asked you that specifically, so answer that and I will help you. But this is what we see a lot with the Instagram method. People say, oh, and there's no data attached. I can't help without knowing. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I could do to help you and anybody else. It's like, oh, it doesn't work, is you got to give me specifics, right? Because there's something minutely wrong. Maybe you only sent 20 messages and then there's not actually a problem, right? Maybe your Instagram looks bad, but go quick if you can. I got another thing I got to jump to. Drop it in there. Yeah, for Europe, it's a little different with coaching. If you're from Europe, you should definitely talk with my team. We've changed some stuff recently and we figured out how to make it work in some European markets. So definitely apply and talk with the team. Well, DM me, KB24M10. I'd love to help you. DM me from your Instagram. That way I know what your Instagram is, how many messages you sent. I'm going to hit you with a bunch of other questions. So if you're willing to work on it, I'd love to help. And yeah, for everybody else, we'd love to work with you in coding. The links below, replaunch.com/apply. What you do when you submit that application is it's going to be like a 6-question application. It's very basic. After that, you're going to book a call with Rod, Andrew, or Philippe on my team. It's called a game plan call. And they're going to ask you a bunch of questions, nothing super invasive. They're just going to want to know what market you're in, what your goals are, what your daily schedule is, what you're hoping to achieve, why you want to do coaching, kind of stuff. They're great guys. They make a game plan with you that's custom to your market. And then they're going to say, here's how we could help you in coaching, and here's what we'll guarantee you. We're not a high pressure team. These guys aren't here to railroad you. That's not the type of people that I have on my team. All 3 of those guys are awesome. I work with them every day. I'm on a Zoom meeting with them every morning. They're awesome people. And their goal is to help show you what could be possible. So book a call, replaunch.com/apply. You have to fill out that short application first and then go there. Oh, thanks, Lizzie. She said we joined coaching officially, start 4/1, and are absolutely blown away by the value. This team is so talented. It's insane. Thank you. I appreciate it. Good things coming. So. Well, appreciate all of you being here and thanks for your time. Love to see you on the next one. It'll be next Thursday around the same time. We'll start at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central for a live, but don't just build your business off of lives. Jump in 2 feet into coaching if you're ready. And yeah, we'd love to work with you. Have a great rest of your evening. The sun's just about to set. It's like the perfect time to end the day, but I still have one more meeting. So anyway, see all of you guys later. Thank you so much.